In a small town on the outskirts of Nashville, Tennessee, lived a young man named Logan Brooks, a 27-year-old who seemed to have everything together on the surface. A stable job, a roof over his head, and a steady paycheck. But deep down, Logan was unhappy. His life didn't feel like his own. Every choice he made seemed to be dictated by what others expected from him. His parents wanted him to stay safe with a real job. His friends expected him to go out and spend every weekend living it up. His co-workers wanted him to stay in line and not dream too big. And Logan, wanting everyone's approval, kept saying yes, even when his heart screamed no. Every morning, Logan drove to his job at a hardware supply company. He didn't hate it, but it didn't inspire him either. As he watched the morning sun rise through the fog, he would often catch himself daydreaming, not about a promotion or a new title, but about freedom. He imagined owning something of his own, being his own boss, having his money grow even when he wasn't working. Yet, each time that thought surfaced, his father's old words would echo in his mind. Son, not everyone gets to chase dreams. Be grateful for a steady paycheck. And just like that, his ambition faded into the background once more. One evening, after a long day, Logan sat on his porch, staring at the sunset as his roommate Jake joined him with 2 cold beers. "Rough day?" Jake asked. Logan sighed and said, "Same as every day. Work, bills, and pressure. It feels like I'm just existing." Jake grinned and said, "Man, you've been saving every penny for years. You've got, what, $8 grand in your savings? Why don't you take a trip?" Logan smiled weakly and said, "Yeah, but I'm saving for the future. I just don't know what for." Jake shrugged. "Then make your money work for you, man. Don't just let it sit there." Those words hit Logan hard. Make it work for you. The next morning, unable to shake those words, Logan stopped by his favorite local cafe, Bean Haven, to clear his head. As he sat with his laptop open but his mind elsewhere, an older gentleman approached and asked if he could share the table. The man had silver hair, calm eyes, and the kind of presence that drew quiet respect. "Mind if I sit?" he asked. "Of course," Logan replied. After a few minutes of silence, the man looked at him and said, "You seem deep in thought. What's troubling you?" Logan, almost surprised by his own honesty, replied, "I've been saving for years, but it feels pointless. I want to do something more. I just don't know where to start." The man smiled knowingly and said, "Ah, you're working for your money instead of letting your money work for you." Logan was startled. It was the second time he'd heard that phrase in less than 24 hours. The man introduced himself as Mr. Thompson, a retired restaurant owner turned investor who now spent his days teaching people how to create passive income. Most people, he explained, spend their lives working for money. The wise learn how to make money work for them. Mr. Thompson shared what he called his 7 rules of smart money. First, earn first, spend later. Most people spend their paycheck and save whatever's left, but the rich save and invest first. Every dollar you earn, he said, should have a job. Some to spend, some to save, and some to grow. The second rule, avoid lifestyle inflation. When your income goes up, don't rush to buy a new car or phone. Use your raise to buy freedom, not things. Third, build an emergency fund. Before you invest, protect yourself. Save at least 3 months of expenses. That's your safety net. The fourth rule was simple but powerful. Learn before you earn. Don't chase quick money. Invest in understanding how money grows. Compound interest, real estate, stocks, or even your own skills. The mind is your greatest asset. Fifth, start small but start now. Waiting for the perfect time is the fastest way to lose time. Even $50 invested is better than zero. You'll learn more by doing. Sixth, diversify. Never rely on one source of income. A job can vanish overnight. Build multiple streams. Maybe a small side business, an investment account, or a skill that pays you long after you stop working. And the seventh rule, give and grow. Don't hoard. Share your knowledge, your time, and your blessings. Money grows in grateful hands. Logan sat speechless, his napkin covered in scribbled notes. Mr. Stewart Thompson, he finally said, I want to start, but I don't know how. Mr. Thompson smiled gently. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. The next morning, Logan took action. He opened his banking app and separated his funds. $2,000 for emergencies, $5,000 in savings, and $1,000 to invest. He began reading books about investing, watching videos about passive income, and researching simple side hustles. With his background in tools and repairs, he decided to start a small online business selling refurbished power tools. It wasn't glamorous, but it was his first step. The early days were slow. He spent nights cleaning, repairing, and listing tools online. Some weeks he sold nothing. Other times he'd make a small profit. But what mattered most wasn't the money. It was the feeling of progress. Months passed, and something inside Logan changed. He no longer needed the validation of others. He wasn't working to impress his parents, his boss, or his friends. He was working for himself, for his freedom. Slowly, his investments began to grow. His business gained regular customers. His small $1,000 investment in an index fund started compounding quietly in the background. Logan realized the power of patience, that wealth was not built overnight, but through steady effort. Half a year later, his friends planned a Vegas trip. Come on, man, Jake said. You've been working non-stop. Let's blow off some steam. Logan checked his accounts. He could afford it, but he smiled and said, Nah, not this time. I'm working on something bigger. Jake rolled his eyes. You've changed. Logan nodded proudly. Yeah, I have. He spent that weekend building his website and planning his next steps instead of gambling his savings away. By the end of the year, Logan registered his company, Brooks Tool Solutions, LLC, and hired 2 part-time workers. His revenue wasn't massive, but it was growing, and for the first time in his life, he felt control over his future. No more waiting for permission, no more living for others, no more fear. Just focus. One quiet evening, as the sun set over his small workshop, Logan looked up at his new business sign and whispered, I'm finally free. He smiled, remembering that day at Beanhaven. The next morning, he went back to the cafe. Mr. Thompson was there, same table, same calm smile. You again? The old man chuckled. Logan laughed. You changed my life, sir. He told him everything. The lessons, the business, the mindset shift. When he finished, Mr. Thompson smiled and said, I didn't change your life. You did, when you stopped living for others and started believing in yourself. Friends, Logan's story isn't just his, it's ours. How many of us are still living for others? How many of us spend years waiting for the perfect time to start, afraid to look foolish, afraid to fail? We spend so much time chasing approval that we forget the only approval that matters, our own. The truth is simple. If you want freedom, if you want purpose, if you want wealth, you have to earn it through your own choices. Don't let fear, doubt, or society dictate your worth. Start saving. Start learning. Start investing in yourself. Even the smallest step today can lead to unimaginable growth tomorrow. Make your money work for you and make your life work for your purpose. Because success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the persistent. So remember these words. Earn first, spend later. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Build your safety net. Learn before you earn. Start small, but start now. Diversify your income. And finally, give and grow. The world rewards action, not hesitation. And friends, if this story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more powerful motivational stories.